Alright guys, are we ready? The finals is underway. J-Doragon making his first finals appearance, and I think, guys, I can't remember, I might have to look back all their records, but it might be the first finals appearance for Kanzaki in one of our tournaments. Of course, he's won and been in finals in other tournaments, but possibly for one of the Plus tournaments here. Either way, one of these guys are gonna be our new champion, because I'm pretty sure Kanzaki has not taken home the crown in one of these Plus tournaments, and neither has J-Doragon, so a new champion will be crowned. And guys, I'm so excited. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bets on. Who do you guys got your monies on?
Mick banned first for J-Doragon. Kanzaki loses the 2 Vine. We will see who takes it here. It will be interesting.
Yeah, so J-Doragon already starting off with the Nidraso, probably trying to pair that with the Yukama, but give me a second, Blue, just trying to set this up. Maybe not the best time to set it up, but I'll be back. Here we go, Kanzaki as well. Alright, there we go, guys. Vote up who you guys got some monies on. But either way, monies or not, this is going to be an exciting matchup. So let's take a look at the team. So we did see the Orphle as we were just mentioning. So that's going to be cool if he ends up picking it. But J-Doragon has a lot of toxic, you know, the Noxalato, the Nidraso. So might not be too great into J-Doragon's team. It might have just been really good against into like Tsubaki's team. But interesting enough, going with the Saku, so a little back and forth like we mentioned in that matchup before. You know, Nidraso checks Saku, but Saku with those Wimbers can check Nidraso as well.
Yeah, and something J-Doragon has to be careful about, and I mean Kanzaki has to be careful about, is Orphle. Yes, it does the most toxic damage in the game, but it also has one of the lower HP pools in the game, right? You have to be careful. In more cases than one, Orphle gets one shot, so you get one good toxic ink off, punish the opponent for underestimating that little snake, just like a cobra, right? You just have to be careful.
Yeah, very careful, and so careful that J-Doragon is actually considering the ban there. You know, the Yukama cannot take one of those, but instead bans the Luma Mashuk. I wanted to see that one too, but maybe we'll get the Orphle here instead. And actually another spicy pick I'm saying from Kanzaki. We saw Tide actually take home the tournament with a Platamus about 2 weeks ago. So Platamus is not any Temtem you should sleep on as well. But Kanzaki said, I saw what Barnchy was doing and I'm not having none of that. So Mix and the Barnchy are the bans for Kanzaki. And Mashuk and 2 Vine are the bans for J-Doragon. And there we go. Speaking of the devil, Platamus gets picked up for Kanzaki's team.
Yeah, toxic water Tem, quite a despicable pairing against an Ukama. Will not have fun against that. The Saipat and the Orphle still in the back pocket. Quite a lot of toxic damage for Kanzaki, but unfortunately, J-Doragon is running quite a bit of toxic himself, so is not as useful. Madrid, of course, we will see if that is the best choice here, as the Wimplop is still available. So picked up Orphle first, but unfortunately, last pick goes to J-Doragon, so either way, he has to figure out what he wants to do here.
Fortunately though for Kanzaki, the Orphle kind of checks both of these Tems. We just saw how much damage it did on Tsubaki's Saku, and it actually outsped the Saku's Tornado too. So either the Wimplump or the Saku gonna eat up double damage from Toxic Ink. But guys, here we go. We are finally into the final matchup. As we said, one of these guys are gonna be a new champion here on the Plus Weekly Tournament number 12 weeks straight of doing these weekly tournaments. Guys, let's get things rolling.
Absolutely. J-Doragon versus Kanzaki. We will see who takes it for week for this week, and we will see eventually as well who may potentially have the upper hand going to the monthly.
So I mean, just keeping things standard, I mean, we could get a double up onto the Nidrasil. Double wind burst should take it well below that 50% range on the Nidrasil. And then on J-Dragon's end, we could get a good old water cannon with the toxic synergy onto Grandpa. But we're not in the seat, these players are, so J-Dragon deciding to retreat the Yukama in for the Noxalato, so 2 wind Tems, but now, yeah, so maybe expecting the Aurafil switch, interesting.
Yeah, swaps in the Aurafil here for the side of Kanzaki, actually double swaps for the Platypus and the Aurafil, expecting maybe some form of allergic spread or otherwise, but Roots will connect onto the Aurafil, slowing it down. This small snake cannot afford to get sped down. It's already not a very fast Tem. And now, struggle to move.
Yeah, interesting double switch, even though they had the pressure on Nidrasil there, and actually would have had the pressure on Noxalato too, but you know, hindsight 2020, and yeah, like father like son, the son is staring into the eyes of the daddy. Let's see if the daddy's gonna teach the son a lesson, you know, a good little spanking. But maybe the son is all grown up now and trying to take on the dad. I'm not too sure, but let's see.
Well,
I mean, all toxic Tems on the board, so no one's is going to be eating up any poison ticks here.
The work will be cut out for the child due to the fact that, again, his HP pool is almost half of an Yggdrasil. A fully I mean, having 2 more heads is quite more efficient, especially when you want to beef up. So, again, this Yggdrasil will definitely have a lot of HP to chunk through, and I don't think the amount of toxic affinities in the world will not help you here. We'll have to be cautious. Kanzaki, I think, unfortunately, has played into a little bit of what J-Dragon thought was going to happen.
Yeah, so this is such a tough turn, such a complicated turn too. I mean, one wrong switch might put you at a little bit of a disadvantage, but aquatic whirlwind, I mean, damage has to be done. Not super effective into any of these Tems, but might as well do some damage. 15% done onto Noxalato. Allergic spread, no poison ticks here as we're used to seeing from the allergic spread, but you know, damage is damage, so everyone's staying in, you know, playing the little bit. Oh, and hypnosis on the Aurafil, a little spicy tech from Kanzaki, so Nidrasil will be taking a nap for this turn and the next one.
Absolutely, that's actually quite surprising tech for me. I forgot that it had hypnosis, and that's where you usually learn it. That's actually quite interesting. Now, putting the Nidrasil to sleep will be quite big here, as now the Noxalato, it can put itself to sleep, luckily, so don't need to do anything there for the side of Kanzaki.
So it could be another turn of just small little, you know, small little damage, but that little damage will add up. And out comes the Saga, so Wind Tem that takes toxic damage 2x, but can also do 2x damage from that win.
Vine comes out though. We'll see if the Aurafil will have predicted this. Turbo Choreograph applies. Beat up on the 2-Vine. Toxic Ink does not land on the 2-Vine. Tried to go into the Noxalato. Said might as well not wake up the Yggdrasil, but unfortunately will not get it. The Noxalato eating it just fine, but remember, Tornado quite fast. So depending on how Noxalato is built, might still get one shot by a Tornado.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, Noxalato tends to be pretty tanky. I'm assuming that's how J-Dragons build it here. So I don't know, I think it's going to put it perfectly in range, but maybe a double up. We just saw how much damage, about maybe 10% damage from that Toxic Ink, so possibly a double up. But if Aurafil stays in, a Feather Gatling from a 2-Vine is going to be doing it. I don't know if it's going to do 76%, but probably take it to the red health for sure. So players taking their time, trying to make the right decision here. Alright, so Orifil feeling too pressured here will be replaced by the Psypat, maybe eating a Feather Gatling there. And yeah, it was intended for the Orifil, so eats it quite well, just 26% damage. And now the Hypnosis coming from J-Dragon's side, gonna be sleeping the Saku before potentially the Windburst. Of course, Noxalado was +2 speed, which is why I was able to go first.
Just the advantage of speed, you can see the impact of it already. The Psypat finally coming in is quite nice, but the question is if it will be able to output the damage. Nichosai is nice, but the swap in from the 2-line is very likely on the side of J-Dragon and Kanzaki. His Saku is asleep and Toxic Ink is, even on an Noxalado, will punish something.
Yeah, Noxalado would have to overexert to get that Toxic Ink off onto Psypat, but it might be worth it, might not be worth it. But yeah, could go with the Nichosai onto 2-Vine if it stays in, but just doing good damage. So Toxic Ink is gonna be enough after 2 ticks. It could have been a single tick.
Unfortunately, no cigar. Nichosai will connect on the 2-Vine, but the high defense you can already see make sure that the 2-Vine will stay alive. The Psypat literally on death's door as Saku wakes up.
Yeah, so close. I know J-Dragon probably most likely thought that was going down. The double up, the Crystal Plume, followed by the Toxic Ink. Literally 0.3% is so insane. It will depend though. It doesn't, I mean, it has Ninja Jutsu now. Maybe it gets off 1 attack before going down. But yeah, as good as that, so might as well get that Ninja Jutsu off. The question is, are you trying to take a risk at getting Noxalado into that range? But it might very well be a double switch out for J-Dragon. But another complicated turn for these players. Noxalado did overexert last turn, so not going to be able to go off this turn. The 2-Vine is at risk of something like a Toxic Ink. However, wait a minute. 2-Vine at +2 speed most likely outspeeds. Of course, Psypat with the Ninja Jutsu though might go off first, even despite that +2 speed.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, the Psypat is definitely staying in. But the question is if it has Ninja Jutsu. Ninja Jutsu will definitely do quite a bit of damage on the 2-Vine. And we see how much damage Tornado can do. I'm actually gonna peck first. Too fast, too furious. Faster than ever the Psypat will ever be. Windburst gonna connect on the 2-Vine. Not on the Noxalado. Thought that would swap out. But the 2-Vine survives, stays in. The Noxalado, overexerting, will just rest.
Yeah, so Peck actually being the exact same prio as Ninja Jutsu, so going first thanks to that +2 speed. Psypat not gonna be seeing the light of day for the until the next game too, but 2-Vine is still here. I mean, free to switch out now. And yeah, it's surprising that the Noxalado stayed in, possibly because he wants to take that damage, right? He wants to go under 30%. He wants to activate his trance trait and get that +2/+2 activated ASAP.
I'm gonna swap in here for Kanzaki. We will see how much it can do, as the 2-Vine is quite low. Aquatic Whirlwind will not be available yet, but I still can do some decent damage.
And you know, it was on the board. I can't remember when it switched out, so it actually might be available, but maybe not. Blue. It did use it when it was on the board. It used Aquatic Whirlwind on Noxalado, and it might have switched out right before the next turn. Alright, so Saku being switched in or filled back in, so maybe anticipating that Toxic Ink going into that slot. And 2-Vine not going out without a fight, taking so much damage from the Platamus.
Yeah, unfortunately, Platamus not the tankiest Tem in the world.
Energy drink on the Orifil though.
Yeah, an energy drink as well, as you mentioned. As Tsunami connects, takes out the 2-Vine and the Orifil with that energy drink will sustain. and now is ready to spit some toxic damage. Unfortunately, again, the double toxic dynamic duo, there's unfortunately a position where the Aurafil is not as useful as you would have hoped, but Grandpa's still in the back pocket of Kanzaki. He could swap it in here if he potentially wanted to.
Yeah, so both of these players saving the things that check each other. So the Grandpa and the Saku do check both of these Tems, but Yukama does a lot to the Grandpa. And I guess Saku just naturally goes down to both of the Tems on J-Dragon's board. The question is, are both of all these Tems staying in here again? Are we gonna just get a back and forth for just little damage one more time? No toxic poisons on anyone? Cause yeah, it's too risky. I mean, the only thing on the back line for J-Dragon are 2 water Tems. So if it goes the same way it did before, you're actually safer keeping these Tems in here. Alright, so Grandpa is saying, I'm not keeping toxic, I'm trying to take these toxic down. So Grandpa gets switched in. Aurafil takes decent damage, but a hypnosis one more time on his own daddy.
Once again, the Ninja Still put to sleep. But Grandpa swap in is quite a scary one. Hyperkinetic Strike will do a bit of damage to Noxolotl, not safe either. I mean, Kanzaki may just not care about the Noxolotl at this point. It has not been touched in a bit.
Yeah, and it is running out of stamina, but yeah, Blue, I'm curious to see. At 48%, it hasn't set up yet. The trance hasn't activated, so maybe Grandpa is so strong. Usually he's running max speed. Is base max speed enough for the Grandpa to take it down? It doesn't have any turbos off. Oh, going for the turbo play. So finding out that is a good time to get the turbo choreography. So trying to one-shot it the following turn. We're trying to one-shot one of these Tems.
Toxic Ink connects though, and it's still quite a big thing. Reducing that Grandpa's HP, taking it down. There's still an Okama and a Whiplup in the back that could potentially end its career. The Saku as well in the field.
Yeah, now with the Saku though and the Grandpa, both of these Tems take decent damage from the Ninja Soul, but yeah, as you mentioned, Blue, Potato or Noxolotl is not safe whatsoever. Now with the +2, I'm much more confident that it will one-shot the Noxolotl here. Of course, J-Dragon probably understanding that might be looking at a switch out here. But we could get ourselves another switch from Kanzaki and try to get in a Toxic Tem in anticipation of one of those Water Tems as well. Let's see though how these turns are going to play out. What do these players want to try to deploy? And Saku no slouch as well. The Tornado more than likely active as well. So maybe a double up. It could be a double up on the Ninja Soul, right? Hyperkinetic Strike to a Tornado should be good enough to take down the Ninja Soul as well.
Yeah, that's why J-Dragon is being careful. Swaps at the Noxolotl, thought that pickoff might happen, but as you mentioned, Hyperkinetic Strike connects. Actually, no, on the Whiplup, did try to wanna take off the Noxolotl.
Yeah, the Whiplup indeed.
As well. Allergic Spread, gonna do some decent damage on top of that. Poisoning the Saku, so the Lifeful Sap is less effective.
So yeah, Kanzaki just feeling that the Noxolotl was gonna stay in, trying to play those mind games, because you know it could have been left in. Hem switched out for a Toxic Tem, and then we're back at square A. You know, same position as we started this game in, or you know, turn 2, I mean. But now Grandpa's here. Hyperkinetic is down. I mean, Hypnosis is active. It does have the turbo. So could be sleeping one of these Tems. Let Saku heal up. But this is quite the attrition war. These Tems are not doing too much damage to either of their respective Tems. So they're yeah, little by little is this game. I've never seen a game. Usually you see things, especially in the non-F4 meta, where it's just a lot of damage being outputted. A Temtem going down already in like turn 1, turn 2. But this one's going for the long one.
Yeah, going for the distance. Tornado connects on the Ninja, still punishing it so much. at 15% HP. Toxic Ink, though, really trying to take out that Grandpa before it is able to finish the deal with these Toxic Tems. Remember, these Water-type Tems still has the Platypus and the Orifil to deal with, and we know what Orifil can do.
Yeah, Ninjaso definitely 100% at risk here. Saku with the Wimbers, Grandpa with the Wimbers. Grandpa does overexert though, so maybe not from Grandpa. Does take down the Ninjaso. So we could get another switch, either the Yukama, most likely the Wimplub to try to eat up that wind damage. But Grandpa, the only one kind of checking that Noxalado besides the Saku. Alright, so Wimplum trying to anticipate it, but Ninjaso will be going down, so keeping it straightforward. Wimbers onto the Ninjaso. Ninjaso is down for the count.
One pick off at a time here for the side of Kanzaki. Now a Tem up, of course, barely a Tem up as the Grandpa is quite low, but may just try and get a Hyperkinetic Strike off him. And the Saku being here as well is not a good thing for J-Dragon. He has now just showed both his Water Tems on the field. Most likely will try and get a Turbo eventually, but still it is in a rough spot.
Yeah, so Saku gonna be withdrawn, most likely gonna be one of those Toxic Temps, so Orifil hits the board. Let's see what Wimplump wanna do, but Hypnosis from the Grandpa gonna be going first, so no damage done from that win. But yeah, Water Cannon will secure the kill on Grandpa. So back out the Saku most likely.
Yeah, the question is, where is Toxic Ink going, right? Because right now, J-Dragon has Noxalot in the back pocket to swap in and save one of these Water Tems, and if he guessed correctly, Orifil will have been nullified, especially in this important time where you just can't really afford to make a mistake here, especially the Kanzaki side. His Orifil is very, very squishy, and if it wastes turns, wasting attacks, it will be punishing severely.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost pretty much like a 50-50. Where does that Toxic Ink want to go? Where does J-Dragon sense that that Toxic Ink is going to be applied to? Because that's the play. I mean, you're going to save yourself a tremendous amount of damage if you're able to play that right. And yeah, simply where is the Noxalado gonna be swapped into? That's the play Kanzaki's thinking too.
Kanzaki's thinking hard about it.
Oh, deciding to wake up the Wimplum, so not switching either and trying to kill the Orifil before. So Wimplum with the 3 prio gonna be eliminating it, so not even giving it a shot. So really beautiful play from J-Dragon. 5 head indeed, knowing that the Yukama was indeed faster.
Carrying that kill on the Ninjaso, the Orifil, definitely putting J-Dragon on an advantageous spot. The Platypus now comes on the field, but much less of a threat. Platypus does not have the same presence as an Orifil on the field, especially in this situation.
Yeah, the only downside here is that the Tornado's not active. The only wind move right now is the Cold Breeze, and the Cold Breeze definitely won't be enough to take down that 27% still remaining. And also, Saku's still alive. Saku's still at 100%. He has 2 Water Temps, so that's half effective onto the Saku. And then the Noxalado maybe is the only thing to get the job done if he's able to hit Trance, if he's able to get the +2 special defense to hold back the Saku. Then maybe, but at 100% HP, he still got good stamina and potentially another Lifeful Sap in the next 2 turns.
If Kanzaki manages to at least pick off one of these Tems, the Saku may be able to drag it through the finish line. It'll definitely be a close match. Ukama with that water cannon will punish with a lot of toxic damage. Windburst again connects on the Wimplup, trying to squeeze more HP out of its life. Tsunami gonna come out, trying to do that cold breeze tactic we always see.
So most likely trying to freeze the Platymus, right? That's the line of play. Yeah, cold breeze, so you won't kill it, but you're definitely almost as good as killing it there. And now, yeah, just trying to worry about the Saku. But you know, if he takes down Platymus, he's looking pretty good. It's gonna be a 3v1 situation. It is not effective against Saku, but once Noxalato gets a couple toxic inks going, you know, you could bait out the tornado with these water Tems, bring in Noxalato, try a toxic ink during the cooldown, and then you kind of rinse and repeat, right? When tornado's active, you switch out the Noxal. Or I mean, I'm sure there's another line of play as well.
I mean, the problem is that I'm sure Kanzaki knows that he just has to wait for Noxalato to come out to then Tornado, because Saku is faster. Of course, J-Doragon could simply freeze Saku, swap in the Noxalato, and then spit out the toxic ink, but there's just not going to be enough turns. He decided to freeze Platymus instead of that Wimplup, and now look at this. He's trying to speed up the Wimplup, making sure that the Wimplup will be too fast for anything to handle. Marushio connects, and now this Wimplup is on a timer. It is fated to die. It will freeze the Saku, yes, but the Noxalato will not have a free swap in, and that is what is important. This Wimplup will die no matter what.
So yeah, maybe Kanzaki trying to conceal that information till the game 2, but had to deploy. Urusol is learnable on Saku, and indeed had that poison synergy from the Platymus, so 4 ticks of poison going to be more than enough to take down the Wimplup. So yeah, the Wimplup just going to be staying here as long as he can, obviously get the kill on the Platymus. So it's gonna be a 1v2 situation. Noxalato Ukama versus a Saku. Who is gonna take it home for this very first game?
The problem is that Noxalato has to survive a tornado, and that Saku will have to see if the toxic ink connect on top of the Ukama chaining water damage after water damage. Saku will not be able to survive, and that is the problem. You cannot Lifeful Sap. You don't have enough time.
So this all depends. Is it gonna one-shot?
Yeah. Will it kill it? And it will
does.
Kill it.
So
Water is finished. Water Cannon will come out with no synergy bonus. If in fact Water Cannon was used at all, no, it was forced to rest. It is out of stamina, or in fact did not have enough stamina. Now Saku can simply Lifeful Sap and chill for the next 7 turns. Oh no.
So yeah, this game definitely going the long game here, but Saku favors Saku in the long game. You know that Lifeful Sap, as you just mentioned, Blue, and of course just simple, the water will only do half damage to the Saku, and then Tornado is going to be doing full damage onto the Ukama. So as long as
it's not enough.
Not enough indeed. So yeah, Saku just has to sit back, rest, tornado, and I think in just 2 tornadoes should be enough. J-Doragon understands the situation, but incredible game 1 already.
And eventually down the line, all these toxic M's fall to the wayside, and it was all down to a Saku versus some watery boys. And as you all know, rain just makes plants grow stronger, and Saku is one flying plant. So
oh yeah, and he definitely too strong. I was trying to make a joke. Maybe grew too much. I was thinking about it, but I'm like, nah, that's kind of bad. That's kind of a bad joke. But here we go. Kanzaki banned the mix, so not trying to do anything with the mix one more time. And you know, J-Doragon was kind of eyeing the the Orifil for game 1, but I don't think it's going to be enough for that first ban. Kind of looking at Platymus, I mean, those toxic Tems did a lot. He wasn't able to get any allergic spreads, so the Mashuk, the Platymus, the Orifil, those might be good if it allows Ninjaso to get those allergic spreads. If it allows that toxic ink from Noxalato to come through, it might make the game that much easier for J-Doragon, but Kanzaki probably has other ways around. So patiently patiently thinking about it, just thinking about the Tuvine so far. And yes, secures the ban on Tuvine there.
J-Dragon has to be really careful how he deals with it. Of course, he does not want to be in a situation where his opening is compromised again. So, takes out the Tuvine as well. Kanzaki now has the opportunity to go Mashuk, Orifil as a decent opener, Platamus Mashuk. I mean, Saku with the Mashuk would be very solid as well. Double Urushiol would be available as well.
Yeah, and Kanzaki last game decided to go with the Grandpa Saku star. Let's see if he wants to change things up for this game too. And you know, Blue, every single game in the quarters, the semis, and maybe potentially the finals has gone to game 3. So we'll see if this is not going to disappoint here. I mean, either way, I'm not disappointed at all. But yeah, so far, quarters and semis both to game 3. So maybe we get a game 3 here. We'll see if J-Dragon's going to pull it through.
I mean, the first game was one heck of a struggle. We all saw how much of a slugfest that turned into. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if we made it to a game 3, but I'm sure, I mean, it's just a lot of thinking that has to come down, especially in the middle of the mid game. Like, you know, games that end quite quickly are not the same sort of mental game as those that take long, because it's very easy for impatient players to mess up in the middle of the mid game because they're like, this is taking too long, let me just do this, and then suddenly your entire plan falls apart. And of course you're like, oh, I'm lucky, but in reality you have to weigh the odds. You have to understand, you know, sometimes playing slow or playing fast has to be your choice. And of course you have to understand
absolutely. And I think both of these players have mastered the patience game. I think they're both masters at being calm and collective, staying cool in every situation. But speaking of every situation, Kanzaki completely changing up the game plan from game 1 and picking up Orifil and Madrid as the first to play for Kanzaki's team so far. And I'm curious, Orifil's pretty threatened here from that Tuvine.
Yeah, I mean, Orifil is in a bad spot. We'll probably get one shot if it stays in. Of course, there's this grand old question. Is the Orifil fast enough to get a Toxic Ink off? The problem there is that Tuvine has a notoriously high defense, and it's also Crystal. So, Kanzaki, probably thinking about his swap-in, picks up the Luma Mashuk. Shiny boy. And
there we go, we get the Luma Mashuk, so we will get a Luma in our finals. I don't think we've seen a Luma in the finals, so this might be the very first time. Usually we see it like in the Swiss rounds, a little bit for fun, but here we go, a competitive, and obviously that's a perfect 6 or 7 SV Mashuk, so quite impressive to have. I only know one other person who has a 6 or 7 SV Mashuk, and that's Mr. Vormax.
Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity to boast mine up, but we will see who takes second game here as we go into it.
Yeah, into the very next game, game 2 of our finals, J-Dragon versus Kanzaki. Is Kanzaki gonna come through for his first finals appearance and clean sweep in a 2-0 fashion, or is J-Dragon in his first final appearance making things interesting, saying I won't go down without a fight, Kanzaki, make you go to game 3? We will find out. It all is on the line here, whether we're going to game 3 or we're crowning ourselves a new champion. So now, yeah, J-Dragon loves his Manka Hums. He's always thinking about the next potential play, but Kanzaki with the Manka Hums as well.
Exactly. You know, it is always a question of if you're thinking too far ahead or you're not thinking far enough ahead. Tuvine gonna get swapped in here for J-Dragon. Gonna switch in for that Noxolotl. This is sort of the classic opening we're seeing from J-Dragon as Mud Shower going to connect. Unfortunately, on Toxic, Tems only does neutral damage and Toxic Ink does not do enough. Roots connects on the Aurifil again, slowing it down. This is the problem. Slowing down this Aurifil is so big, especially going into the mid game. If the Aurifil does not have priority, it may just get picked off.
Yeah, so really good switch. I mean, it would taking a good amount of damage, possibly well into that 50% range following the 2 ticks of poison. But yeah, really good switch. Now, Noxalato's even, you know, just 34% away from hitting that trance, but Aurifil will retreat for the time being. Out comes the Grandpa, so we're gonna get a turbo setup turn here.
Absolutely. Speeds up the Grandpa using the stamina on Madrid. Turbo choreography as well, gonna be traded in kind. Obviously not as beneficial as Noxalato does not have that wind synergy. Allergic spread applies and does decent damage to Madrid, but the poison is what really matters here. And look at that Grandpa. 3 ticks already. Quite major.
Yeah, so 25% still to go. So dropping the Grandpa essentially to 50% after the next 2 turns. Madrid with the resistant trait only going to be taking 2 ticks of poison, but actually the nature going into Earth there does a good decent amount of damage alone either way. But the Grandpa, when it's sped up, is a scary Temtem. Of course, we got things like Hypnosis, we got things like Hyperkinetic Strike. But I think we might be seeing a Hypnosis play here. But I'm not sure where, because, I mean, Allergic Spread just hit, so it's not active. So maybe a Hypnosis on the Ninja Soul to keep it at bay for the next Allergic Spread. And then you turbo. I don't know. I'm not trying to think too far ahead. I like to keep things standard so we're not revealing anything, even if we do. Of course, these players know a lot more than we do, so they have different game plans in their heads.
They're just still gonna retreat from battle. Tuvan will swap in. J-Doragon may have the idea of double swapping into his wind type Tems, so Hyperkinetic does not do enough, and in fact that is exactly what he does. J-Doragon swaps into Wimplump and the Tuvan, expecting this swap, using Crystal Dust here to do some decent damage onto the Wimplump, but Hypnosis as well. Gonna trade in kind. Tuvan will be put to sleep. But Madrid, not safe as Wimplump is available on the field.
Yeah, now Madrid is on the board. Maybe J-Doragon thought it was going to switch out. Madrid definitely has, you know, it does Vortex online to do a good amount of damage on the Tuvan. However, Tuvan can easily retreat back in. The Ninja Soul gonna eat up that damage, and on the downside it might be too of a risky play because you would have to overexert quite an amount to do so. So let's try to look on the back line for Kanzaki. What would be a little bit better play? Potentially bringing out the Mashuk, but Mashuk in the eyes of both of these wind Tems might not be the best bet.
At the moment,
I mean, Saipat not looking too bad there. Of course, you got your Toxic Ink onto the Wimplump. You got your Nicho Sai onto the Tuvan once it wakes up.
King of Tuvan gets swapped back out. Noxalato comes back in. We'll see if Kanzaki anticipates that. Turbo Choreographs again actually lets the Madrid. He says Madrid has done its job. Buffs the Grandpa to almost maximum velocity as Hyperkinetic Strike connects on the Wimplump. Did not expect a swap up from the Tuvan. Did not want to wake it up. Tornado connects as well on the Grandpa. Expected a swap out, or at least just trying to punish the Grandpa for staying in. Now gonna take a bit of poison damage as well. Madrid stays in as well. No Tem goes down because both players make technically the wrong read.
Yeah, technically the wrong read, but still the safe read, the safe play, right? I mean, there's no way of knowing you know, the Tuvan was going to get switched out there. So with the safe play, going with the turbo, so guaranteed speed increase on both of your Temtems. And yeah, you know, a Hyperkinetic Strike with +4 speed is still going to be doing a decent amount of damage. Of course, it was half damage because of the wind resistant from the Wimplump. But damage is damage. I mean, we saw in game 1, they were just working with 5s and 10 percentiles with those poisons. Or Toxic Ink. No poison ticks, but just like toxic damage. So yeah, damage is damage, and you definitely want to take down that Wimplump. But now, Just as we're used to seeing Grandpa, what he's mainly known for at +4 speed, he is a monster. Not only for hyperkinetic strike, he's a monster because he has hypnosis ready and available one more time. So one of these Tems will be put to sleep, either the left or right slot, depending on what he wants to do. But nope, the Grandpa is gonna actually be switched out here.
Luma, Mashuk will be swapped in here. That shiny boy gonna try and blind the Noxolotl and the Wimplump as he comes in to the field. Toxic ain't gonna connect on the Mashuk, but you can already see how barely affected he is. And now Sidepad on the field as well. Toxic Ink will be devastating. Sharp Brain will drop, and Mashuk will again take that very kindly.
Yeah, so really good switch out, eating both of those attacks incredibly well. Way better than Grandpa would have eaten. Grandpa actually would have gone down though to that Toxic Ink and the Sharp Brain, so really good switch out there. And now the pressure is a little bit back on J-Dragon's end. I mean, a Toxic Ink onto the Wimplump plus those 2 ticks of poison would easily be enough for the Wimplump. But on the other hand, I mean, Noxolot's here, so a Toxic Ink onto the Sidepad should be doing a lot. But maybe Kanzaki little by little might be setting up perhaps like a perfect jab onto Noxolotl, followed by like a Nicho Sai for the following turn. That should be enough to do that remaining 60% damage or so.
Such a risk going into this. The Noxolotl is gonna be fine, but the Wimplump, if it goes down, is such a big factor for the side of J-Dragon. I mean, the Mashuk, it might eat a tornado here, it might get picked off, but the Wimplump and the Ukama are such big players, and J-Dragon does not want to afford to lose it, so Wimplump will be swapped out for the 2-Vine. 2-Vine will be most likely eating anything that comes into that position. Sidepad, in fact, being swapped here. Kanzaki thinking that the Aurifil will try and punish that, so... Or sorry, the Noxolotl will try and punish that, so Aurifil gets swapped in, but the speed up. J-Dragon playing the speed game, but Arushio gonna connect on the 2-Vine. Now gonna drop it to, at minimum, 50% lower.
Yeah, so you're so really good play for Kanzaki, and of course Mashuk is a melee 10 which counters the crystal in the 2-Vine, so an uppercut should be, you know, if it goes under the 50%, the poison ticks might be just ready to go, you know, right there, enough to take it down. But no, I don't think one uppercut does the job, but maybe a double up. But Aurifil's here and the 2-Vine is faster, right? Let me take a look at the scoreboard. Yeah, +2 on the 2-Vine, Mashuk and Aurifil. Actually, Aurifil minus the speed. So yeah, Aurifil is not safe. A double up on that Tem could be it for the Aurifil. Feather Gatling followed by, I don't know, a Toxic Ink could be enough damage. So quite the complicated play here.
Yeah, I mean, every turn is just so dangerous because, again, Kanzaki like ignoring the Noxolotl, but there are always certain moments where if the Noxolotl can be easily punished here, or if it gets swapped out again, just really wanting to avoid any sort of punishment to come out from the side of J-Dragon. So Madrid will come in, Hypnosis will connect, but if that's on the Madrid, then that will be so big. Actually on the Mashuk, puts it to sleep, prevents it from moving at all. Feather Gatling gonna connect as well on the Madrid, and you can see it survive at 0.4% HP! The stamina blown there for the side of J-Dragon, and we don't even know if Madrid can wake up Mashuk. I mean, that may be the play.
Well, remember, Madrid was out on the board and never got off a Dust Vortex, so the Dust Vortex still available. The thing to keep in mind though, does the Madrid outspeed the 2-Vine? And at +4 speed, I dare say it definitely does outspeed the 2-Vine. Does it take 70%? I think with the 2 ticks of poison, it will be enough to take it down. We could get a tornado to wrap things up, but at a +4 speed from the Madrid, it's a scary turn there. Of course, we have seen it. We've seen that infamous Peck play. Not going to be happening here, so Out comes the Wimplup, maybe trying to eat the Dust Vortex. So yeah, Dust Vortex intended for the 2-Vine, but Wimplup actually eats it by 1/4 damage. So perfect switch in for J-Dragon.
The Noxolotl being unable to do anything. They just have to stare at a 0.4% Madrid. Kanzaki, by some miracle, still has the Madrid available.
Yeah, seriously, so insane. I mean, I'm pretty sure 2-Vine was maybe max attacks. A lot of players do like to do max attacks. So if you could increase the attack TVs by 1, that 1 would have actually cleaned it up there. But either or, I mean, Wimplup hits the board now. It does have the tornado pressure, as you mentioned, Blue, but I don't think it's enough to kill the Machoke. So Wimplup retreats for the time being. Out comes the Nidosoul, maybe expecting something like a Eurosoul from a Madrid switch. No, Madrid's just staying in. I think he's just ready to sacrifice the Madrid.
Yeah, J-Dragon trying to bait out maybe a poison attack on the side of the Wimplup, but predicts it correctly, says no, I'm not falling for that swap out, and Madrid stays alive. Noxolotl just doesn't do anything. Madrid is at 0.4%.
And Blue, did your mic cut off or something?
Oh no, I was just rubbing my nose there, but wow.
No worries, but wait a minute, so Noxolotl didn't do anything. Did it actually rest there? Because on my screen, Blue, I'm seeing 0% stamina. Do you seeing that on your screen, Blue?
Yes, but it has rested twice. It has at least 50% stamina.
So rested twice, so obviously well above 20% stamina. And yeah, Mudger's still here. It wants to go out. It actually might go out on his own terms, but not going to be doing a whole lot of damage on the Nidosoul or the Noxolotl. But yeah, I mean, damage is damage and you gotta get it done. So Crystal Dust before going down actually goes down just on his own terms, chooses to overexert.
Yeah, Hypnosis thrown out. I think this Noxolotl maybe just being used to control the... Oh, to heal the Noxolotl, I just realized.
Beautiful play, beautiful play.
Very smart play indeed. Now,
so let's see. Yeah, I was saying what could possibly be coming now. I wish we could check the scoreboard while they're deciding to see if we could try to you know, think through their thoughts as well.
Exactly. Still had the Grandpa, so we'll bring that out next to the Machoke as well. The Machoke is still asleep. Again, the Grandpa could wake it up. I mean, it would hurt a lot on the Machoke, so I doubt that will happen. Grandpa does not have Hyperkinetic Strike, which is a bit of an issue. Remember, Kanzaki still has a side pad in the back, so is an Aurifil, so quite a bit of options. Kanzaki may be using Grandpa as bait here to lure in some sort of toxic attack. And the question if J-Dragon will read that or not. J-Dragon still has 5 Tems available, albeit all of them at lethal range.
Of course, and Grandpa at full stamina. We didn't see the Hypnosis go off, so Hypnosis could be going off this turn. It's +4 speed on the Grandpa. So gonna be outspeeding these two Temtems on J-Dragon's board. And yeah, if Grandpa manages to stay around, I mean, it depends though. It depends. If you choose whichever one you Hypnosis, a Toxic Ink from either of these Tems should be enough to guarantee a kill on the Grandpa. The question then is though, does it survive one more turn for a Hyperkinetic Strike?
Saipat swap in here for the Machoke, and Hypnosis does come out, goes onto the Nidosoul, removes that from the equation, at least for the time being. Toxic Ink gonna connect on the Grandpa.
Ooh.
Now, fated to die, but again, the curse of 0.4% HP. Hot.
Exactly what I was talking about. I was scared that the Toxic Ink wasn't gonna be enough, so now a Hyperkinetic Strike is still available. I mean, J-Dragon could try to counter it. We could try to counter. We could try to switch out both of these Toxic Tems. Obviously, you want to get the pick off on the Nidosoul. That's the most guaranteed kill. I think it's going to be quite the feat to climb to take 80% damage from a Noxolotl there. It is +4 speed, but I think 80% damage is a little bit too much. Maybe if you double up on the Noxolotl. The thing is though, he only has the 2-Vine, the Wimplup, and the Yukama, and Saipat kind of checks 2 of those 3 there with the Toxic Ink. So going pretty low on that reserve time, just about 10 seconds or so. These players locked in their plays, so Noxalotto gonna be retreating for the time being. Yukama is gonna be coming out. The question though, where is this hyperkinetic strike going?
Connects to the Ninja still, removes him from the play, and now Saipat on the field. We'll see, lands a Toxic Kick as well, reads a swap up for the Noxalotto, will punish that Ukama entry, says get out of my field. Grandpa will take himself out, unfortunately, to Toxic Ink, but now the play field evens. The Saipat is such a monster, and a swap out, or rather, let's see what the swap-ins are for both players, because this is where the read is important.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for now. Saipat, I mean, one of your Toxic Tems that kind of checked the Saipat is gone. You only got the Noxalotto. Fortunately, it's over 80% damage. So gonna be doing a good amount to the Saipat. However, Yukama is now dangerously low. One more Toxic Ink, it will not be able to handle. And whatever J-Doragon has on the back line, Wimplump is under 50% health. Tuvine is under 50% health. Things are looking a little bit rough. But guys, it's still 3 Tems to 4 Tems.
Yeah, but you have to consider, those Tems on J-Dragon's side are all very susceptible to Kanzaki's 3, right? All of them. The Wimplump and the Ukama have to be careful. Getting hit with one Toxic Ink will spell their doom. I mean, we saw how much Ukama took from just a Saipat. Imagine if the Aurafil did that. The Tuvine has to watch out for the for Nicho Sai or for another Toxic, right? Even if it's Crystal, that Toxic damage is still devastating. Mashuk does a lot of melee damage as well. So again, there's so much risk for the side of J-Doragon. We'll see if he pulls this out, forces a game 3, Toxic Ink connects on the Saipat, but you can see difference in power levels already. Aquatic Whirlwind will be thrown in as well, trying to pick off the Saipat, but you can see how little it does. The Saipat is way too strong. Perfect jab connects on the Noxalotto just to take a little bit, but Toxic Ink will seal the fate of the Ukama. J-Doragon really trying to push for something, but the Saipat is too resistant.
Yeah, and with that perfect jab, we kind of alluded to it earlier. I think what the best way right now for Kanzaki to try to deal with the Noxo, you know, he doesn't have any win anymore. The grandpa is dead, is back in the temp card, so I think he's trying to set up a good Nicho side turn, perhaps a perfect jab one more time, followed by Nicho side. But of course, if you use the Nicho side on Noxalotto, you're not gonna be able to use it on the Tuvine, so it does depend on what he wants to prioritize here. Wimplump is still in the back, but as you said, Blue, he takes a lot of damage from the Mashuk, from the Saipat, despite having, you know, the tornadoes available for both of those Tems.
Two melee Tems versus a Tuvine. This is not a situation you want to have fun in. Hypnosis is going to connect as well. Probably going to make sure the Mashuk is unable to do anything, but Nicho Sai is still available. The Tuvine is, I believe, faster in this situation. Crystal Gatling going to try and take out the Saipat. Will it be enough? No, it will not. 1.7% HP will be enough. Any form of HP is more than enough as Nicho Sai seals the deal. KO the Tuvine out of the sky. A glass bird shatters on the ground. A Saipat will be trading his life.
And man, that rock shield does so much stuff for Kanzaki. They're keeping that Saipat alive. Literally, this has been a game of inches. Literally 1% spelling the difference for so many different situations in these games alone is absolutely insane. However, man, the Tuvine Crystal Plume had to kill there, but Saipat just staying alive. And one thing I want to say is that he had the speed advantage, right? Tuvine was +2, Noxalotto was +3.
Aurafil insta-give by that tornado as well. Now the Mashuk has to fight the Wimplump. J-Dragon might actually turn this around. I mean, he may have been in control the entire time, because right now, the Wimplump is not going to die at the moment, surely. I don't think Mashuk has enough toxic damage.
So actually, yeah, wait a minute. So final 2 Temtem, you're still not gonna be doing last, so we're gonna get a Tornado. The Tornado's gonna be going off, but of course he could just Cold Breeze. He's faster than the Mashuk. We just saw it. Mashuk, the final Temtem remaining. I think this might be going to a game 3. Yeah, he's frozen. He could rest on both of his Temtems. Rinse and repeat. Oh, that's actually a mental move. Actually 2x damage on the Mashuk, and a Tornado easily will clean up the last 36%, and J-Dragon not going down.
Was versus many, and both times Kanzaki was on the smaller side of that army. This time Mashuk is unable to secure the win for him. We will see if there's enough adjustments on playstyle, enough read changes, enough mistakes from one player to take it all here on this week's tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing, it was a little bit of an illusion, right? Kanzaki still had more of, more Temtems alive. However, Orville hit the board, took a Tornado, and instantly back to the Temp card he went. So a little bit of illusion there. I thought he had a little more of the advantage, but I didn't think a Tornado would single-handedly take care of the Orville by itself. So, a little, not a little, but a lot of a glass cannon on that Orville there.
Right, it was also slowed down while the Wimplup was sped up, so there was absolutely no way the Orville was going to go first. Kanzaki, again, every single time, the opposing Ninja Steel, the daddy, as we keep mentioning, is slowing down the child, which means that it is unable to, again, I said this last game as well, is that if you get hit with that early game, late game is going to hurt you, and we saw it, late game, it hurt him really badly. He was unable to do anything about it. The Orville was simply too slow.
Yeah, really well said. So yeah, plays that happen either on turn 1 or 2 can still have a huge impact in the late game. We saw it right there, the roots alone. Of course, Tornado is 3 prio, but we saw it during Tsubaki's game. The Tornado was 3 prio on the Saku, but the Orville still outsped it. Of course, Wimplup a little faster than the Saku. But either way, the roots paying off for J-Dragon. I think one of the only players I've seen run roots on Ninja Soul. So maybe he's saying, guys, you guys don't sleep on roots here.
Yeah, just root them to the ground and they will not be able to move. Zaki now has to deal with a Barnchy 2-Vine opening. J-Dragon mixing it up massively here for the opening.
Alright, so a little bit similar start what he had. Actually, a little bit of the same from game 1 and a little bit from game 2, right? He started Grandpa Saku game 1. For game 2, he started Orville Mudger, but not going half and half, starting Saku and Mudger for Kanzaki. And J-Dragon actually picking up Barnchy for the first time in these sets. I'm pretty sure, right? I don't remember Barnchy in the first 2 games.
No, Barnchy was never picked up. It was, I believe, banned after Mix, and now Noxolotl is banned for the side of J-Dragon. I'm surprised that was the ban. I surely thought Wimplup would have been the ban here, but decides no, that was not the main threat.
And J-Dragon, actually, this is the first game Kanzaki will have to play without the Grandpa here. So the only Temtem that we know that has Hypnosis on Kanzaki's side is that Orville, the Glass Cannon Orville.
Absolutely, and now there's the Wind Temp to deal with the Toxic Temp, which is more important. This Nidrasil is now much stronger than it seems. There is a Saku, yes, but the Saku also has to deal with the Barnchy. He has to deal with the Wimplup, and it has to deal with the Ukama, right? We cannot give all the responsibility to a single Tem, otherwise it will be overloaded. And we will see if this Saku will be up to the plate to try and just nullify all of this sort of this toxic damage that perhaps the Ninja still may have. J-Dragon thinking about taking up Saku instead of Ukama, gonna switch it up a little bit, but Ukama's quite big in his play style, especially of trying to control the speed of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, the only Temtem that is strong against right now is the Mudrid. It's weak against Saku, weak against Mashuk, weak against the Orifil, so Saku not looking like the bad play. I mean, it's weak against Platamus and weak against Cypass, so... Oh, still deciding to go with the Ukama. So no Saku for him. And like you said, Blue, is pretty iconic to his playstyle. He likes himself the good old freeze trap. Maybe trying to do a turbo choreography. I don't think he had a turbo on his team besides maybe the Barnchi. So maybe trying to guarantee that speed advantage on more of his Temtems to, you know, more reliably get it off. But I didn't see Saku being such a bad play there. But I guess a lot of toxic pressure does, you know, put a little bit of hindrance onto the Saku there. But here we go, guys. I am ready. These set of games have been absolutely incredible, guys. Game 1 going to Kanzaki, Game 2 going to J-Doragon, and who is taking home the crown in this Game 3? We will find out. J-Doragon versus Kanzaki is underway, guys. Tuvine and Barnchi versus the Saku and the Mudrid.
Barnchi already swapped in. J-Doragon gonna swap in the Ukama immediately here. Maybe trying to set up the Wind squad. Actually, no, they'll be the only swap in there. Crystal Dust gonna connect to the Ukama immediately, though. Off the gate, the Ukama will be taking a little bit of damage, but the trade is there. And look at that, very similar damage in terms of trading a Lifeful Sap on the Saku, preemptively preparing for the long haul. The Mudrid, of course, now threatened by the Ukama. The question is, Dust Vortex will be fast enough to pick off the Tuvine, or if Kanzaki does not want to take that risk.
Yeah, so the biggest here in turn 2, we've seen both players do it on turn 2, is usually that setup turn. Mudrid has a turbo choreography, Ukama has a turbo choreography. However, if either player thinks that is going to stay, we saw how much Water Cannon did. Water Cannon will kill the Mudrid, and like you said, Blue, Dust Vortex does a lot to the Tuvine. But on the other side of the coin there, you know, whoever doesn't get their turbo off might be down in terms of the speed advantage. So maybe we see a double turbo here unless someone wants to take a little bit more of a riskier line of play.
Right now, Kanzaki, we'll see how he decides to play against the J-Doragon. I'm not even sure if he's figured out what he wants to do here. Does he want to play, basically like the obvious play, or try and read Kanzaki and his swaps? Mashuk will be swapped in here to eat that water cannon if it did come in. Tuvine will be swapped out here, expecting the Mudrid to stay in. Wimplup will be swapped out, and we might see a turbo choreograph that might hit into play. And in fact, that is beating up the Wimplup, and this is the first phase of this threat. But Rushiol gonna put a dent to that curse, because now poison damage can be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, so J-Doragon sacrifice, Kanzaki sacrificed that immediate speed advantage to try to go more offense. So just try and get the Urso off either on the Tuvine, or if it did switch out for this Wimplump here. However, +2 speed on a Wimplump, +2 speed on Ukama. This is the double trouble freeze comp what everyone's frustrated with. You get your Tsunami from the Ukama, you get your Cold Breeze, instant freeze before you can even do anything. So we might be seeing that this following turn. If not, I mean, Kanzaki now has the turbo play available. I was just thinking that. So Mudrid had turbo, but so does Mashuk, and Saku is a Wind Temp, so we could be seeing it here. It does have priority, but with +2 speed, it might get frozen before the turbo choreography.
Yeah. Right now, the J-Doragon has the speed advantage, base Tsunami, Cold Breeze, and that's exactly the plan. Tsunami will come out here and freeze both the Mashuk and the Saku. Yes, they will not take a lot of damage. The problem is the freezing. Cold Breeze connects on the Saku, freezes that smile in place. Mashuk gets a turbo choreograph off, speeding up himself as well, trying to match the speed game.
Yeah, so maybe most likely fearing something like a tornado from the Saku, just wanting to mitigate any kind of damage, knowing that Mashuk was more likely just going to turbo. You're already at +2 speed. So you're gonna be matching it there, so not damage coming out from the Mashuk. And now you know a simple Cold Breeze will be freezing the Mashuk here. And leaving another turbo. It could be the play there. We could be seeing another turbo choreography followed by the Cold Breeze. I mean, it's a super safe play. I don't think the Mashuk outspeeds the Wimplump here.
The Mashuk currently is in a rough spot. Tornado will probably take it out, which is the problem. Orphle and Saipad in the back pocket as well, but you don't really want to swap in. I mean, there's a lot of problems here. There's not a lot of things that really match up against the Mashuk in this, the Wimplump against this situation. But Turbo again to speed up, and there's nothing you can do about it. Mashuk will be frozen this time. And there's not enough turbos to go around. Now 4 speed, faster than the Mashuk and the Saku, and way faster than anything else currently in both rosters.
Yeah, so J-Doragon taking that risk there for the first, and actually it wasn't quite a risk. Mudry wasn't in too much pressure situation with that Wimplump switch in. It was just a Urso that kind of got Wimplump this low. But still, yeah, that turbo choreography paying so much dividends, going before the Mashuk, going before these Sakus here. And yeah, now just like you said, Blue, +4 speed, +4 sleeve. The only thing limiting the power of these Tems is their stamina.
Oh, Mashuk will take a tornado to the face, throwing it into the dirt. 21% HP remains, as it really can't take this severe beating. We might see it get sacked just to speed up the Saku for the sake of making sure it does not get frozen in place every time. But the problem is he can't really afford it at the moment. I mean, Ruscio may happen into a turbo choreograph, but we will see if it does enough.
Yeah, and like we said, the only thing limiting these Tems are the stamina. So again, we could get the Tsunami Cold Breeze, but Yukama would have to heavily overexert to do so. And you're only going to be freezing one of these Tems. Alright, so Yukama will be retreated for the time being, trying to recover some of its stamina there.
And the Wimplump as well, making sure it leaves. Now, it's just back-pocketed with such fast speeds. The Ninja still, in fact, will swap into a tornado! Partly red from the side of Kanzaki forces the Ninja still low. Already surprise attack there on top of Aruscio. Unfortunately, will not kill it, as it is a Toxic Tem.
Yeah, so J-Doragon trying to play around that Urso from the Mashuk, but Kanzaki saying, hey, you only got a certain amount of switch outs there, and you know, one will take a good amount of damage from a tornado, and it happened to be the Ninja Soul, because thinking that, you know, the Ninja Soul will come out to try to eat the Urso there. So yeah, trying to double up on it, and already down to 23%. Definitely can't eat another one. I dare say a Wind Burst from the Saku should be enough to clean up the Ninja Soul here. But same on the side of Tuvine. Tuvine probably has a good check on the Mashuk. Of course, if that does stay in. Oh, Mashuk does want to stay in. Uppercut on the Tuvine. Let's see where the Tuvine wanted to go.
Windburst as well, punishing the Barnshi, but as you mentioned, we'll see if the Tuvine will try and attack the Mashuk, and the Mashuk will be losing its life here. The Tornado will be more than enough to finally take out that Mashuk.
Definitely, Mashuk does have that parrier trait, so probably could have held off against a Feather Gatling, but J-Doragon understanding that going with the Tornado doesn't have the most special defense. Of course, some people go heavy invested on special defense to try to have Mashuk kind of be like a really brick wall, you know, kind of impenetrable with that parrier trait there too. But now he's down for the count. Out comes the Madrid. And Tuvine pressured again, but Blue, I believe he used Dust Vortex on the Wimplump and then retreated that next turn, right? So Dust Vortex isn't active right now. Can you remember?
It did not use Dust Vortex at all, I believe. So it still does have Dust Vortex. Yeah. Crystal Dust will actually be used instead, trying to take out the Banshee first. And look at that damage! Banshee, the glass cannon, will try and turbo choreograph the 2-Vine, just trying to outspeed everything that Kanzaki has.
Oh,
Kanzaki trying to kill off everything. A Windburst gonna pick off the Banshee, gets rid of it before it is able to push anything further. 2-Vine now sped up though, you can't ever slow him down. Feather Gatling will plummet into the Madrid. That is the only way that 2-Vine does damage to the Madrid. But remember, there's a Whiplum in the back and a Nukama that's +4 speed.
Yeah, so I do believe this is a stamina bug here. Blue, can you see the Yukama stamina on your end?
No.
Yeah, on my end it says 4.2%, but obviously it's been in the backline for quite a bit. So Madrid feeling the pressure. +4 Yukama gonna be outspeeding everything, so maybe the Orifil or the Saipat will be replacing it to try to eat up that damage. But Orifil, if it comes out, the 2-Vine, if it wants to go into that spot, it's gonna be taking it a lot. It's gonna be doing a lot of damage. But now, speaking of what we said before, now the Dust Vortex is back online for the Madrid, but with +4 speed, it's never gonna see the light of day. It won't ever go off first. So I think Kanzaki will realize that and most likely make the switch.
Swap in, the Saipat will come in, Water Cannon connects, but barely does any damage. It is the perfect swap in. Feather Gatling as well, gonna try and plummet into the Saipat, but Saipat is tanky enough to do so. Rifle Sap again on the Saku, just making sure that it does not get punished.
Yeah, definitely. So I think J-Dragon's game plan so far is maybe leave the Saku for last. Saku for last is just too much of a troublesome Tem right now. Maybe 2-Vine and Niruso will be able to handle things in the end game, but still neck and neck, not necessarily out of things. Saipat hit the board last turn, so Nicho Sai is active for this next turn. So 2-Vine running out of stamina, most likely will be switching out, but it will be the Yukama too. I know with the Toxic Ink as well. And 2-Vine staying in. Nicho Sai onto the 2-Vine. Is it going to be enough for 69%? No, but very close.
Yeah, as you mentioned, unfortunately not enough, but that is, I mean, the Saku, well, I mean, you mentioned it, right? The Saku is still at the maximum HP. The Nidrasil is slower than the Saku as well, so Tornado Windburst will kill the Nidrasil, and then suddenly you're in a situation, again, I mean, it might be deja vu for J-Dragon. He might not have enough damage to deal with the Saku, and that is my main concern right now. You can freeze the Saku all you want, but if you can't do enough damage, then what is the point? Tornado will connect with the Saipat. Unfortunately, the Saipat stays in, but Tornado will not do enough damage as the special attack on 2-Vine is abysmal. 2-Vine will sacrifice his life to do as much damage as possible. Windburst will connect, and the Nidrasil will be picked off, and now it's a 2v4 situation, and J-Dragon loses both of the Tems on the field without a retaliation strike.
Yeah, most likely trying to get the Toxic Ink onto the Saipat to guarantee the kill. But the Windburst from the Saku, was there any bit of speed? I think there was some speed on the Saku. Yeah, +2 speed. So yeah, the Windburst will be going first. Of course, there's still one of the slower Temtems in the game so far. So yeah, naturally Saku's pretty slow too. The +2 speed did come in and clutch there to guarantee the kill before the Saipat. And interesting enough, Blue, I guess the peck was just to do a little bit of damage without overexerting. I mean, but this is the infamous duo, right? We've seen this again and again. It has plenty stamina to work with.
I mean, the question will be if the Sea-Note brothers are able to take out 4 Tems. And yes, one of them is an Orifil, yes, one of them is a Madrid, but that Saku, I mean, the first game, Saku was immortal. The question if J-Dragon, if he is able to push through that immortal monster, while also pushing through an Orifil that could potentially Toxic in them, a Madrid that still could very much annoy them. The Saku, even if it is their #1 priority, they will still get pummeled left and right. If the Saku doesn't die, then this will be all for naught. Yukama by himself will not be able to do enough damage, so Tsunami will come out here trying to do as much damage as possible.
But Cold Breeze, maybe Cold Breeze does kill. Oh, but on the Saku, leaves the Saipat. Maybe thought it was gonna be kill.
No,
yeah,
he doesn't
Cypad
pick it off?
Toxic Ink. I thought, well, I
Oh.
mean, either way, maybe the wind. But you know, Toxic Ink does more than a tornado. Maybe fearing the tornado from Saku onto the Yukama, trying to protect it from that. But yeah, I thought the Cold Breeze was maybe going to go onto Cypad. Most likely takes that 4 remaining health from the Cypad.
Yeah, the Wimplup was the main factor to change this. I mean, we already know Ukama cannot kill Saku by his lonesome. And now there's 3 Tems in the back pocket with just Ukama. And we already know this story from the first game. Plus 3 more Tems. Kanzaki, this might be it. J-Doragon, I don't think he has a way out. We will see if he fights to the bitter end, and he will do so. He'll pick off the side pad. Saku's still in the Ice Age, so nothing will happen on that portion. We'll see if the Ukama will be able to kill 2 more Tems alongside the Saku. He has a single turn to get another kill, but it's Aurofil, and nobody runs Blizzard on Ukama. And I mean, nobody.
I mean, we've seen it before, but yeah, technically or recently, because of the whole free shenanigans, yeah, most people are running that Tsunami with the wind synergy instead of the Blizzard. And you know, Water Cannon and Aquatic Whirlwind, too much of a staple to let go. And of course, as we saw there, the Turbo is also a staple for Yukama, especially in this wind-centered meta. But GG, absolutely incredible set of games. Insane stuff. Kanzaki, the one and only, will